Gnomes are a very common creature littered throughout folklore, mythology and fantasy. Whether your mind first goes to the gritty, battle-hardened races found in Warhammer and Dungeons & Dragons, or to the cutesy, playful garden ornaments that protect your home, everyone's got their own understanding of what gnomes are. In Bramble the Mountain King, players will get to meet this story's adaptations of these creatures. If you play the Knackens Pond demo, you'll have already met them. As with the rest of the game, the development team drew heavily on Nordic and Scandinavian folklores when designing the vast array of creatures that you can find in the Bramble Forest, and gnomes are just a part of this. To help you understand more about the folklore that inspired these bearded beings, here's a quick guide on the Nordic lore of gnomes. Known as Nisse in Norway or Tomte in Sweden, gnomes can be found inhabiting the houses and barns of humans. They're very similar to the classic Western depictions of gnomes, short and stumpy with bushy beards. Across Scandinavia, people believe that gnomes are mischievous spirits responsible for the protection and welfare of homes, farmsteads and land. They are usually most active at night, when the owners of the homesteads are fast asleep. Some people like to think that gnomes originally came from the soul of the first owner of said house or farm, which became spirit creatures to protect and care for the area after death. It is also believed that the idea of Scandinavian gnomes first emerged as a way to keep lonely farmers company during the freezing winter months. The idea came from the imaginations of isolated people wishing for protection through the unforgiving, dark winter season. This is perhaps why gnomes are usually associated with good fortune. However, despite their general unmalicious nature, during the Christianization of Sweden, it was seen as frightful to have a tomte on your farm. These creatures can also be very precarious too, playing pranks on families if the gnomes or the animals and farmland are not treated right. Many gnomes were said to be offended by lazy farmers or the general lack of respect given to a farmland. This encouraged such people to take extra care of their lands. Gnomes in Scandinavian folklore are also thought to be very family orientated, living in rural areas and almost always merry. Players will clearly see these qualities in the gnomes of the Bramble Forest, especially their companionship. In Sweden, the tomte are fond of caring for children, and would protect a person from misfortune if befriended. Luckily for Olle, the gnomes in the Bramble Forest possess these attributes, and they are all keen to help him on his journey. That's a quick summary of the Nordic lore of gnomes. Feel free to read more into the history of these creatures and explore deeper into Scandinavian folklore. Bramble the Mountain King is home to lots of wondrous creatures, many of which you'll encounter as you follow Olle on his journey to save his kidnapped sister. Be careful who you trust in the Bramble Forest, and until next time, I've been Ben, the community manager of Bramble the Mountain King.